Hit it! This is Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast. We're very, very excited to have you on the show today. Thank you for tuning in. Joey, we've got a cool topic here today, something that you brought up just the other day that I had mentioned to you that you thought was interesting, and that is to downshift in order to accelerate.
Yes, sir. You taught me it.
Which I think is very cool. I'm gonna double check something here really quick.
Go ahead, double check. Do all your double checks.
Yep, we're good.
All right, we're just
because we don't have Brian, so I figured we might as well do some awkward audio because that's his specialty.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, makes sense to me, really, if you think about it.
Bro, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm having a really good morning.
Well, can you please stand up and showcase that jersey?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Unbelievable.
So my D-Hop jersey came in yesterday. I've been waiting forever.
You guys, Joey was so excited. It's hilarious how happy he was. But obviously,
the mic got in the way.
Obviously, well-deserved excitement because look at that jersey. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Joey was like, he was like a kid in a candy store when this thing came on.
Oh man.
Came in the mail. He was like watching it the way I would watch like an Apple Watch coming in. He's like, my jersey's here, man.
My jersey.
And then the Cardinals won yesterday.
Oh yeah, by a lot.
Which was great. So
Monday Night Football, baby. I won money.
And we can actually talk a little bit about football here.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing this morning.
Were you?
We were talking about the topic? Yeah.
Tell me what your thoughts were.
Well, just the idea of, it's called downshift to accelerate, right? And I was thinking, like, even last night's game as a Cardinals fan was kind of a perfect example, because we went out there and you could tell we had good vibes. We were ready for the game. Clearly, the prep was there. But Kyler Murray was returning home and playing in Texas, where he always played football. So it was a big night for him, and he went out there and he was just too amped up. Like, he was not, as you say, in the room, right? So he was making some passes that he usually doesn't make. He was overthrowing a lot, and a lot of it was because, and we saw at the end of the game, like, he was just so jazzed to be back. You could tell. And so what we had to do was this idea of downshifting. So we had to go back to the run game a little more. We had to go back to the short gains and figure out, hey, this is our identity. This is what we are. So Kyler, you can run the ball. Kenyon, you got to run it with him. Chase, you got to run it with him. And then from there, that's where the passing attack opens up. And he was running really, really hard last night. And on top of that, he, from there, started to settle into the game and threw an 80-yard touchdown. Like, he looked really good. But it was sort of a physical representation of that idea of just slowing down, remembering, okay, cool, this is who we are. Let's slow it down, and then we're gonna speed up, and we're just gonna run all over you and score 38-10.
Yeah. Good. So, and when I first came up with this, when I was trying to tell you about the downshift to accelerate, it came from showing you in a vehicle, and I was like, to go faster, you have to actually downshift, and then you tried it, and you were like, vroom, and then you took off, right? And it was like, oh, that's fun, and it's like, that's a strange concept, and I always thought that was strange too when I first learned to drive stick shift. The idea of, if you're in fourth gear or something and you're driving down the road and then you kick it down into third, boom, all of a sudden you pop up with acceleration. And then if you go back to fourth, then you kind of level out. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk about why that happens and how do we apply that to our lives and to our work ethic and whatnot. So here's the concept, everybody. when you downshift in a vehicle, what happens is well, actually, I'll just read it here because I did look it up. I wanted to get this right because I know we've got, like at least one mechanic out there that watches us, so I didn't want to get this wrong. So when you shift down to the immediate lower gear, it will slow down the vehicle and cause the engine RPMs to rise. So when you first downshift, the RPMs will actually rise. So what happens is essentially the engine revs up, but you slow down for a half second, but the engine goes and starts working harder.
Sure.
And it kicks you into this acceleration mode, and then when you pop it back up, all of a sudden you jump. So an RPM stands for the revolutions per minute. So you think about like how many times inside the engine it's turning and turning and turning and turning and turning. So when you downshift, you're actually speeding up the revolutions, even though you're slowing down the car for a split second, in order to rev up the engine, so then you can then pop back into further acceleration. So I'll give you an example of this, even like with our company here. We had this recently, Shay Topol, who we love so much. She needed some personal time, so she stepped away for a little bit, and we don't know, honestly. Like we wish Shay the best. We hope that one day she's back here doing acting or whatever else she's going to be doing. But we essentially just said, okay, we love you, and we'll release and we'll see what happens. And so Shay was an integral part of everything that we're doing. I mean, she was absolutely part of the core. She's one of the guardians. And so for those of you who don't know Shay, she kind of ran things up front. She was our brains and a great female energy to have here at the studio. She did a ton of stuff. And so when she left, we had to adjust and we had to make some decisions on what we were going to do and how we could continue to push the company forward, when in the short term, things were definitely harder because Shay was an absolute valued part of our company. And she always will be, by the way. But that being said, we had to make some adjustments, right? And I remember like looking at what was in front of us and realizing, okay, so Shay did a lot, and I'm aware of the things she did, probably more so than you guys, because I was more in the day-to-day operation speaking with her.
Sure.
But she did a lot of things, and I was aware of most of them, if not all of them. And I realized that in order for us to succeed through this, literally I was going to have to slow down. Like I knew I was going to have to slow down and take a look at the bigger picture and see what things can I amp up the revolutions on without me being there. Yeah. So I started looking immediately for new systems, new things that we could put in place to automate. And unfortunately, honestly, in the short term, it caused us to slow down. That's the truth. Like in the short term, we might have missed an email or two. We might have missed a phone call or two. I know for a fact that we lost some students because of a lack of being able to keep up.
Sure.
But during that time, it's not like we weren't working. We were actually working harder and faster and grinding more.
Yeah.
In order to create systems that would allow us to accelerate.
Yeah.
So essentially, we had to slow down, but slowing down doesn't necessarily mean working less. As a matter of fact, in a car, it means working more. When you downshift, you're revving up the engine. The engine's going, right? And so I'm downshifting. I'm putting more pressure on so that then I can accelerate forward. It's sort of the same idea when you say, I'm going to take 2 steps backward in order to take 5 steps forward.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to step backwards in order to progress forward, which is a super, important concept in life, because there's always going to be adjustments that need to be made. And if you're afraid to change, if you're afraid to make the adjustment, then you'll always get stuck in, let's just say, a particular gear, and you'll try to like push forward when really the smartest move or the fastest move or the more efficient move is actually to go backwards first, to downshift in order to accelerate.
Yeah. I love that idea, because it's like like you said, you know, and for me, I learned on a clutch vehicle, and my dad always called it popping the clutch, like when you would shift it into gear and then it stops because you shifted wrong, right?
Right.
And that's the whole idea, is like you can't shift from first to fifth. It's not going to work.
That's right.
So,
oh wow, what a great concept that is.
Yeah. So it's like you gotta go in order, and sometimes you have to go backwards to get to the speed you need to go to push forward further than where you were.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. And or maybe, you know, I mean, we can go on this analogy forever, but but think about that. How many times in our lives, how many times you have or the listeners have at some point in time thought to themselves, let me just skip to fifth gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I can't tell you how many times parents have come to me and been like, does my child have it? Do they have the thing? You know, and someone's like, hey, I want to take your class so that I can like be on TV. And I'm going, okay, but you're trying to go from first gear to fifth gear here. Let's just get you into the class and like, let's just move forward from there. And then we'll take a systematic step forward. So that idea of not being able to shift from first to fifth, Joey, I mean, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
And then to understand that sometimes like I'm just going to dive into this analogy, bro.
Do it.
It's so good.
Do it. Thank you.
So let's say you're in like what happens on the road sometimes, right? So sometimes there's construction. It's going to slow you down, right? Like it's like, oh, you kidding me? You know, rush hour traffic. You time things wrong. You were supposed to be up at 5 to avoid the traffic. You didn't get up at 5. If you were up at 5, your car could have run full speed.
Yeah.
But you didn't get up at 5. Now you're on the road at 7, and everybody else is on the road at 7, and it's rush hour traffic. You're stopped, and you have to downshift your car all the way to first gear, sometimes even stop just to get to your destination, right? Sometimes you'll be on the road, and you get a flat tire. You better slow down then.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you're on the road and you just see traffic and different things, and they're kind of weaving in and out. And then how do you get around it smoothly? Sometimes you got to downshift, accelerate, speed up, swerve, and move forward.
Yeah.
And I think it's the people that just try to plow forward and just try to skip all the steps and are going to drive the same speed no matter what freeway they're on or road, or no matter if there's rocks or it's a hill, and they're just going to go and they burn themselves out, right? And I know I've done that. I mean, I'm not immune, of course. Yeah. But this concept is really, you know, pretty profound for us to get to this place where we are understanding that it's important to slow down. It's okay to slow down. And when you slow down, doesn't mean that you're going to work less. Doesn't mean that you're going to put in less effort. It just means you're going to change your approach, be open to change. And then by doing so, you'll open up your mind and think, okay, maybe it's right to get off the freeway right now. Maybe I'm going to take this exit and navigate over to what turns out to be a wide open freeway that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And now I'm flying, and I am taking a path that is less traveled. I'm taking a path that not too many people know about. Not too many people are willing to take the risk to get off.
Yeah.
Not too many people are willing to find their way, find their own path to get to the destination. So everyone just kind of waits in line until they get so frustrated by being in traffic that they just quit.
Yep. Yeah, this is bringing me back to a little bit of my country roots.
Okay.
But just all this talk, because we used to go four-wheeling a lot, but I love that idea because it works in the idea of a freeway, but it also, you know, my dad and I used to go four-wheeling all the time together. It was like our favorite thing to do. But we would never take the path with the trails on it. Because why would you? That's no fun.
If you have the option to go forward,
no. But like even in the sand, like you see, like you get out there and there's trails, there's little like paths you can follow, and we always like forget that. You know, we would take the soft sand and find our own way, and you're right. I mean, it's crazy, but the amount of beautiful places that we would travel to and like see by going off-road, by finding the places that people didn't normally travel to, that are just kind of untouched, untamed, it's like so beautiful.
Well, I'm going to jump on this, bro. Okay. Because your dad's extraordinary. He's a really, really good dude. And I can tell you that there's a reason why you would take the trail, actually. I would take the trail if I don't have the right vehicle.
Yeah.
If I don't have the right experience. Because if I were to take a vehicle and not know the terrain, not understand what certain sand is going to do to my wheels or how to speed through or slow down, depending on what I'm up against, I'll either get a flat tire, I'll get stuck, I'll have to get towed.
Well, we got stuck plenty of times.
but that's the experience you gained.
Yeah.
In order to push through to then go, okay, I know what this is going to look like and how to go to the next place, right? So you experiment just enough to earn the right to experiment the next time, to earn the right to experiment the next time. And you keep kind of like looking and pushing and looking and pushing. And I mean, like that's an awesome, awesome example. But I'm telling you right now, some people would watch you and your dad and they'd be like, whoa, cool. Look, like, why don't we go that way? But they don't have the vehicle to do it.
Oh yeah,
they don't have the experience. I'm talking about life, you know, life. So you're like, oh my gosh, it's deeper than I thought.
He's not talking about the analogy anymore. But
no, it is the analogy.
It's crazy, but that happens all the time.
Of course,
literally,
of course.
People with like cars.
But that's the life. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
like in acting, how many times, and in life, how many times are people trying to follow each other's footsteps? They're trying to follow each other's paths instead of creating their own. And the idea is like, I see where you're going. Cool. What I want to know is why. What I want to know is how. What vehicle do you have and what are you using and what gear are you shifting into? And let me ask the right questions and then decide, is this the right path for me to start on, stay on, or perhaps do I need to create my own path? Do I have to go backwards? I might have to turn the car around completely, Joey, and get a new vehicle. Yeah. And it might take me 3 years to save up and buy the vehicle that can do what your dad's vehicle can do. And then I can take that path.
Yeah.
And I can take it safely. And maybe I can even go beyond where your dad went, potentially. But only if I'm equipped with the right things and I've asked the right questions instead of just going, oh, you do it, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And then I get sad that I got a flat tire and I'm like, how come this always happens to me?
That's funny.
Yeah. No,
there's a lot of different circumstances where this idea plays in. It's a lot deeper than I think either one of us initially thought.
Well, 100%. You know what did it was the whole idea that what you came up with was that skipping from first to fifth.
Yeah.
Because I am so adamant about people respecting others. When I see somebody who's been successful, I get excited, humbled, and grateful to be in their presence. I cannot wait to talk to them, to ask curious questions and to go, wow, like you're doing something that I've never done. You're doing something that's beyond where I've been. Let me ask you, let me be curious and ask certain questions and respect where you are. Not think that I deserve to be where you are.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to ask myself, why am I not where you are? What is it that you're doing consistently that I'm not doing? I'm curious and I want to dive down that path.
Yeah,
but so many people want to skip steps. I gotta slow myself down because I'm getting so excited today.
Yeah, I mean, I get why you're stumbling over your words because this is absolutely a topic that is just like perfectly made for Matt Deering. But
because I hate it when people want to skip steps.
Yeah, you talk about it all the time, and that's the whole idea here. I think it dabbles into a lot of things that we talk about, and one of which being comparison. Right? So you don't like it's the same idea as don't skip steps, but don't compare yourself to where somebody else is at, because it's detrimental to you because you're gonna put yourself down,
right,
or lift yourself up too high where you don't deserve to be there yet, right?
And it's like somebody says like, oh, they want to move to LA, and I'm going, why?
Yeah,
why do you want to move to LA? That's fine, but don't move because somebody else moved.
Yeah,
don't move because whatever. Like you got to make sure that that's your path.
That's one of my favorite things you say is go to LA if you love it.
Yeah.
But don't go there if you don't love it. It makes so much sense. Like in any other profession, or just like people that just go about and they have their job, whatever profession it might be, without the acting industry, they go where they want to be. wherever their family's at. Maybe they had a dream location always, you know, they go where they want to be. And as actors, it's like this whole idea of like you have to be in LA has been ingrained in everybody's head somehow. Like, since it's weird because it's so funny, but it's like, to me, I'm like, well, it's been there since birth, you know, that idea. But like, it's so true. And I don't even know how it got started in the first place, besides the fact that Hollywood's a big place. But like, how does everybody live under that impression?
Yeah.
That just like, oh yeah, Hollywood, you know, if you're going to act, you go to Hollywood, and that's where you go, and then you're done. And then,
well, because I mean,
you know,
I'll tell you why. They developed it. They created the fantasy. They purposefully put people in that position so everyone would look up and go, I want to be in the stars. I mean, that they did it on purpose. You know, anytime you have somebody who they can take advantage of and put up on a pedestal to get everybody else to follow so that they can all make money on it, they're going to do that thing. Yeah. You know, they want to put Hopkins on a jersey. They want to lift him up to a certain degree in order to get you to go, like that. I mean, like, and it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I'm just saying, like, that's something that is a part of business. It's a part of what people are going to try to do. But for you to go, like, I mean, this would be like you looking at this and going like, all right, well, like where's the, where do I don't know if you know this or not, but do you know where the most, let's say, football players come from? Like the core in the United States. Yeah, I mean, it's a solid toss up between Texas and North and South Carolina. Okay, and Ohio probably has a few. Yeah, you know, Nebraska. That's where Hopkins is from, is South Carolina. So it'd be like this. It'd be like, okay, if you saw like people were coming from there, and yeah, like a lot of like really good players are developed there, and there's really good teams that play against each other, and you didn't do anything to deserve to be on one of these teams, but you go, I'm going to move to South Carolina so I can be a pro football player. And you haven't done any work. You're not training every day. Like, you're not trying to work out. You're not trying to get bigger and faster and stronger. You're not actually catching balls every day. But by moving there, that's what's going to make you, like, now you're going to make it to, like, no. It's a beautiful analogy. Of course you're not going to make it to the NFL by moving to South Carolina. Like, no. Not going to happen, right? It's a solid point. And nobody would do that, you know? And I don't want to say nobody, but, like, that idea of, like, again, you just, at least for me, I'm like, I don't see it in any other profession where people do that, you know? And there's certain circumstances where it's like, okay, maybe I take a leap of faith because this opportunity's there. Like, for example, one of our students, Matt Siebert, right? He came to Arizona because the Cardinals were the team that were interested in him. If COVID hadn't hit so hard, he was going to work out with them. They had already called, scheduled, all that. That doesn't happen, and he ends up staying and training here because he goes, hey, this is the team that was interested in me. I'm going to keep trying to make this team. Right. I'll keep my horizons open, but I already moved here. I already found my trainer here, so I'm going to keep working every day to get there, and I'm going to do it in the place where I have the best opportunities to succeed. That's right. And I'll just throw out there really quick, Cliff Kingsbury, I'm sure you're watching right now. make sure that you take a good hard look at Matt Siebert, because if you turn down the chance to get Matt Siebert, Joey and I are both going to be disappointed. And it's going to be a huge mistake because he is going to be successful in the National Football League. 100p. And if you want more game tape on him, you can check him out Tuesday nights, all of November, Fox Sports, 7:00 p.m. He will be playing. He will be balling out, and he's going to be the best tight end in that league. I'm going to just say it. That's right. That's right. He got invited to be in this other league, right? Like, yeah, and he got traded within like the first hour. Okay, so let me jump on this then too. I'm going to go one more football thing with you really quick, and then we'll just wrap this right into life and we'll end the show. Okay. All right. So who's the guy with the long hair on our team that just took over? Dennis Gardek. Dennis Gardek. Yes. Never heard of him. He's a dog. Never heard of him until the last game. Okay. Because I'm not a super fan like you are where I look at all the stats. So I'd never heard of him before that. You happen to know who the backups are for the backups, so like you're ready. But we have a Pro Bowl, maybe future Hall of Fame pass rusher in Chandler Jones. He goes down. And this guy, what's his name?
Dennis Gardek.
Dennis Gardek takes his spot, and within the first couple snaps, he's already got a couple sacks.
Yeah.
Right in the first game. Then you're like, dude, the guy's legit. He's gonna keep playing well. He did. He played really well last night. He did super well. And Dennis Gardek is gonna be a guy that we're gonna know his name now.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna repeat his name. The announcers are gonna repeat his name. Who is he? Where'd he come from? Do you know what school he's from?
I do. I heard it on a radio interview, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
All right, I'm gonna look it up.
It's a smaller school. He's a really, really, really good guy. He did an interview on the radio last week after that game, but basically, just for more context while Matt looks this up, he played 10 snaps as a pass rusher in the NFL when Chandler Jones went down, and 2 of those snaps were sacks.
Joey, Dennis Gardek played at the University of Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there was a place called the University of Sioux Falls.
It's a super, super small school.
They're not a D1, I imagine.
No, not even close.
Okay. So here we go. He played at the University of Sioux Falls and South Dakota. I mean, no one's heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he's a guy that I'm sure he would have played at a D1 school if anybody offered him a scholarship. I'm sure they didn't.
Mm-mm.
But like Siebert, he kept pushing forward. I mean, Siebert was a walk-on, right?
He was
at
a
Michigan
walk-on,
State.
yeah.
And so now he's going to walk on in the NFL. And these are the guys that go next level. Tom Brady's that way.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? His tight end? Gronkowski's that way. Like these walk-on, hardworking guys that really take it next level, who people said you can't do it because you're this. Yeah. Even Kyler Murray, in a way, because of his height.
Yeah.
Through his whole life was told, you can't do this thing.
So many people told him he was not going to be successful at the next level, and he just shut it out.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to have these growing pains and like make the rookie mistakes, but he is phenomenal. And he is a testament for anybody who, exactly as you said, is told, hey, you can't do this.
You know who else has that similar story? Is the backup running back for Carolina, Mike Davis.
Yeah.
His story is unbelievable. How he got cut from different teams and he wasn't given a chance and he was always the backup, and he never had a name attached to him because he didn't come from Clemson or something, like,
yeah.
And so, and maybe he didn't deserve to be at Clemson at the time. Maybe he was too scrawny or whatever the reason, I don't know. But now you look back and you, of course they miss kids. Of course they, because you can't measure somebody's heart.
No.
You can't measure how much they're going to work in the dark when everyone else is partying. Like, you can't measure that. You have to try to get to know the person and see if that's really going to happen. And at the end of the day, anybody has a shot who's willing to put in the work.
Yep.
And that's why I brought up this guy, Dennis Gardek, because I had never heard of him.
Yeah.
And now I'm becoming a fan of him. And I'm asking you, well, what's his name? And now I'm repeating his name. Now I'm at a point where I know his name.
Yeah.
Gardek. I'm excited to watch him play now. And because he came from the University of Sioux Falls, because he wasn't given a starting chance to play at the position of his dreams.
Yeah.
And now he's thriving there. It means he's been grinding in the dark.
Oh,
he's been
100%.
putting in the extra hours, which means me and everyone else are going to be more super fans of his.
Yeah.
We're going to be more loyal to him because we love the underdog story.
Yep.
Right.
And there's a reason that he excels, and that's because like you can tell because he's a team captain. As a guy like that. Yeah. He plays special teams, but he's a team captain. Why? That's why he's putting in the work 24/7. And that's what Kingsbury said this past week. He said he came in at 4 a.m. and Gardek was there running already.
You see?
Yeah.
You see?
That's that idea. But he was like, yeah, Dennis was already in there working.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and think about today, dude. Okay. You're in the best mental shape for the last probably 6 months on this show. where you and I are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
You're the best you've been. Okay. You and I had a conversation last night. And you, I don't know why, but I always say it's a light switch. It's like, it's a decision at the end of the day to stop whining, stop making excuses, stop doing whatever, and just to go, you know what, this matters to me. So I'm going to turn on and you did. You flipped the light switch, and then you asked me for a favor. You said, hey, you know, I did the one night and it didn't work and blah, 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 but I'm not going to make excuses, but do me a favor. Would you mind waking me up? And I expected it, you just say 5:30 or something. And you were like 4:45.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I say back to you?
You said, I'll do you one better.
Yeah.
You said, I'll come to your house and
under one condition.
And yeah, I was kidding.
Oh, sorry.
Under one condition. And that is it becomes an enjoyable experience. So you gotta be fun, you gotta be grateful and all that.
I didn't want to wake you up and have you be a grouch. That does nothing for me. I might as well be here writing my book and doing something solo.
Yeah.
Why am I going to go and do that when you're not going to be grateful?
Mm-hmm.
When you're not going to fill me back up with energy? Like, no, thank you. I don't think so. I've got kids that I have to wake up who are ungrateful sometimes. I'm totally not going to do that. But if you're willing to be grateful, you're willing to step in. I'm like, heck yeah, let's do this thing. Well, guess what happens, right? And by the way, before I hung up the phone, what'd you say to me, Joey?
I said, I'll be up.
Yeah, you laughed. You're like, I'll be up. You knew it. You already knew that you could train your body, you could train your mind, and by you thinking it, that the alarm didn't matter, that you were going to be up and up before I came because you didn't want that experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk in 4:45 on the dot. And you've got motivation playing in the bathroom. You're already rolling. You're already grinding. I'm like, this is going to be a great day. I could already feel it.
Yeah.
Like I already knew it was going to be a great day because you were putting in the time. You were putting in the effort to make this important ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and I've told you this before, but you imagine that you do this, that we do this collectively over time. It's not overnight, over time.
Yeah.
10 years from now, where are we going to be? And you just go, it's impossible that we're not
super successful.
Whatever you want to be. It's impossible that you're not that thing. And so everybody out there, apply this idea, this concept to you and your life and your vision and your dream and your goals. And the truth is, if your goals might be too high, you might have set goals and expectations and things of what you want to do, but you're not willing to hit the gym. You're not willing to wake up early. You're not willing to put in the extra effort to get to the place you want to get to. Then stop saying you're going to go there.
Yeah.
Just adjust your goals.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to be super unhappy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So stop lying to yourself.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, here's where I want to go. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the annoying part is when you go, oh, I want to be in fifth gear and I'm mad that I'm not in fifth gear, but I didn't take the time to even rev up the engine enough to get to second gear.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so profound. And that's the whole idea, you know, that was the puzzle piece, really, because it was something that I do care about and I wanted to be up and I just kept failing and failing and failing. And then it was that idea of like the things that worked for me in the past didn't necessarily work for me anymore. So I had to make that adjustment and be like, okay, cool. Let's figure out a new reason. Let's figure out a new habit. Let's figure out this, that. Whatever, let's experiment a little bit and figure out, okay, what gets me stoked to be ready, because when I go to bed, that's what I want to happen. You know, I don't want to be in bed. I want to be up. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes back to packing your bags, and packing your bags is more than just the physical packing of the bags, but it is knowing, understanding, connecting to your why in life. And I am so like aggressive and passionate about this thing that I'm going to do, that I want to do, that I'm a part of, that nothing's going to get in my way. I don't care. Like nothing is going to get in my way. And the naysayers can say what they're going to say and blah, blah, blah. And like you shouldn't do that and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it doesn't affect me. And by the way, I'm sick of the naysayers. Therefore, I don't talk about it anymore. And that's another step for you, is you're going to be like, don't tell anybody you did it. Let me talk on your behalf. Let me brag about you, like whatever happens, but don't go talking about it, because especially with the people that you know are going to be negative,
You should need more sleep.
Because they're gonna bring you down. I mean, look at your eyes. You're more wide awake and energetic than I've seen you on this show in 6 months, Joey.
Yes, true. This is facts.
And you got technically less sleep, and you grinded hard yesterday, and good things happened. But it was literally your head. And I can tell you, there was a reason why when 6 o'clock would happen around here, and you were supposed to be here, that I'd be disappointed. But half of the reason was like, I don't want to call you.
Yeah.
Why do I not want to call you?
Because you don't want to. Well, there's a couple reasons, but no, like, okay, let me just ask really quick.
Sure.
Is it for you or me on like this reason?
Both, but okay. really, I mean, it's attached to you, but it's like, it is about me, actually. Why would I not want to on my end?
You don't want to absorb negative energy.
Okay, that's one for sure.
Number two, you. This is really great. Let's see. You don't want to get out of the zone.
Correct.
You're in the zone.
Correct.
Auto zone. And
I'm going to tell you right now. I want to be around people.
Oh yeah.
That are next level human beings. And the funniest thing is, like, when I would be disappointed, you would get sad because you thought like I was mad or whatever. And it's like, no, dude, like, you don't understand. The reason I'm upset is because I see more in you than you see in you.
Yeah.
And it bums me out that you don't respect you enough.
Yeah.
To know what you're capable of. And then you'd be like, meh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fine. For sure. But why would I, like, it doesn't feel good to wake you up, because I'm going, he doesn't care as much as I care.
Yeah.
And I want you to care. I want you to care about your life and your progression and you doing what you're going to do. And when you do that for yourself, you're going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
And by doing so, you help lift me up the same way I help lift you up. And we get to systematically go and progress together, rather than me soaring and you grabbing my coattails and you slow me down.
Yeah. This is facts. This is facts.
Joey Sweeney facts. All right. It's time for, by the way, there's a lot of this type of information if you're an actor or you're an artist in a little book I wrote called It's Time Now for
Joey Sweeney's
Shameless Plugs.
Shameless Plugs. Acting is my day job. 7 strategies to market and make money as an actor. There are so many good concepts in this book. 7 great chapters of juicy content. If you want to be an actor, go ahead and read this book. I've heard it a billion times as we edit the audiobook. We are on chapter 7 now, for those of you that follow the progression.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I've been trained to hold for the audience, so that's exactly what I did. I just waited. Love it. But acting is my day job.
What chapter are we on?
We are on chapter 7. And chapter 7 is called Be a Great Actor. I know that because I've been editing it. Thank you. This is great.
Wow, what a well-trained actor he is. Bam, bam,
well,
bam, bam,
you
bam.
know why? It's because of this book, Acting is My Day Job, 7 Strategies to Market and Make Money as an Actor. I've heard it. I've read it. I've spoke it. It's beautiful.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you took something away from this idea of downshift in order to accelerate. Do not try to skip steps. Do not try to move from first gear to fifth gear, or you're going to blow your engine out. You want to systematically move from one idea to the next. And when it's time to accelerate, look at the option of potentially downshifting, grinding in the dark, like rev up those RPMs, and then poof, you'll pop into the next gear and you're just going to soar. So downshift to accelerate. Hopefully you got something from today. Please comment on what we got going on. Share this channel. Subscribe to our YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Do all that stuff. Help us, because that's the way you can help right now. There's going to be different ways where we can donate in the future. You can come take classes, obviously. But if you just hit the subscribe button right now, that is the best way you can support us and help us to spread this light-driven content
to the planet. I got to say it with you.